It is currently the 15th of February 2018, and here we go with the news. First one's about Northern Ireland. When it eventually gets there. From the Reuters UK, Northern Ireland talks collapse. London says deal still possible. Talks to restart. Northern Ireland's power-sharing government broke down yet again. On Wednesday, the province's main parties said blaming each other. Through Britain held out hope that a solution could still be reached. The British province has been without a developing executive, a central part of the 1998 peace deal that ended 3 decades of violence for over a year since Irish nationalists Sinn Féin withdrew from the compulsory power-sharing government with arch rivals, the Democratic Unionist Party. The long-running talks have also been complicated by the fact that British Prime Minister Theresa May's minority government depends on the support of the DUP to pass legislation in London. Two parties, representing mainly Catholic proponents of a united Ireland and Protestant supporters of continued rule by Britain, have failed to meet a number of deadlines. They were told last month that the British and Irish governments that they had been one last opportunity to reach a deal. While substantive progress has been made, it appears this phase of the talks has reached a conclusion. Britain's Northern Ireland Minister Karen Bradley told reporters, "The position of the UK government remains the same. Devolved government is the best interest of everyone in Northern Ireland and is best for the Union. I believe a basis for an accommodation between parties still exists." 2 days ago, the British and Irish Prime Ministers raised the prospect of a stalemate ending soon, but the talks collapsed when DUP leader Arlene Foster issued a statement on Wednesday saying she now saw no current prospect of a deal. Foster's colleague Simon Hamilton told reporters the agreement was impossible at the time, but that the DUP wanted to pick this talks up at a future date. Foster said it was incumbent on London to set a budget to the region. In the meantime, direct rule. The British government, which is overseeing the talks alongside the Irish government, has already had to take steps toward ruling the region directly from London. For the first time in a decade, setting a budget late last year that runs until the end of March. Many fear direct rule would further destabilise the delicate balance between nationalists and unionists. Until last year, had run the province since 2007 on the terms of the 1998 Good Friday Peace Accord that mostly ended decades of sectarian conflicts that killed more than 3,600 people. Sinn Féin said that they had reached an accommodation with the leadership of the DUP that put an agreement within reach, but that the DUP failed to close the deal and collapse the talks. Its leader in Northern Ireland said direct rule was not an option. The parties have failed to reach agreement on a number of issues, in particular additional rights for Irish language speakers, which Foster highlighted as a chief reason why they had reached an impasse. Sources close the negotiations told Reuters that some DUP members had issues with the proposed compromise on the Irish language, and robustly raised their concerns with Foster earlier this week. The absence of an executive has limited Belfast say in Britain's negotiations to leave the European Union, which are set to have a bigger impact on Northern Ireland than on any other part of the United Kingdom. The prospect of direct rule being reintroduced could also trigger diplomatic disputes with what role the Irish government should have in the region. Ireland's foreign minister said that as co-guarantors of the 1998 peace deal, both governments have an obligation to uphold the letter and spirit of that agreement, and that Dublin must reflect on the coming days on how best to do that. End of article. From the Mirror, ex-football coach Barry Bennell guilty of 43 sex offences against crew and Manchester City youth players. An additional 86 complaints have come forward since November 2016 to say they have been abused in the past by Bennell. Serial paedophile Barry Bennell has been convicted of abusing more young footballers after grooming them with claims that he could fulfill their dreams of a career in the sport. The 64-year-old, who has previously received 3 jail sentences for similar offences, was found guilty at Liverpool Crown Court of 43 counts of child sex abuse against 11 victims. It is understood that the total number of victims assaulted by Bennell could exceed 100 after 86 more people came forward to report abuse following publicity about the case. The chair of Yes came from the public gallery where 6 complainants sat with family members as the final verdicts were read out, and some people were in tears. Bennell, who appeared via video link from prison, could be seen shaking his head at times and muttering when the final guilty verdicts returned on Thursday. Bennell had coached and worked at Crewe Alexandra and Manchester City in the 1980s and early 1990s. The court heard he used both clubs as vehicles to groom and manipulate pubescent boys before sexually abusing them. During the course of his trial, he was described as a child molester on an industrial scale who would not just groom his victims, but also their families. Victims who had been coached by Bennell as boys told how he had power hold everyone as they dreamed of becoming professional footballers. He was said to have been treated like God at Manchester City's main road ground. He abused the boys at his homes, where he had arcade games and exotic pets, including a puma and a monkey, but also on trips away and in his car while they were on the way and to and from training. One victim who had admitted abusing in 1998 said he knew of 4 men who'd been coached by Bennell, including former Wales manager Gary Speed, who'd gone on to take their own lives. It was said in court that there was no known link from Bennell to the suicides. During the trial, the court has heard Bennell 64 compare to the child catcher from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. 3 of Bennell's victims, Mickey Fallon, Chris Unsworth and Steve Walters, read emotional statements outside court. Mr. Fallon said, "We stand before you today as men, united in justice, united under the banner of the Offside Trust, the organisation that's set up by the survivors for survivors, by players for players. We stand before you today as men, united, but at the same time we were very young boys. We were little boys with a dream, and our innocence was shattered. Our dreams turned into the most horrendous nightmare." will be sentenced on Monday and will be produced from custody to attend the hearing, the judge told the jury as he discharged them. In his closing speech, Nicholas Johnson QC prosecution said, "We suggest Mr. Bennell is a child molester on an industrial scale, and that's why he went to these lengths to get so many lads round to his house." In transcripts of police interviews, which were read out in court, Bennell, who has changed his name to Richard Jones, told the police about his grooming process and abuse of boys, but claimed the complainants in the case were jumping on the bandwagon, following publicity. He chose not to appear in the witness box, and no evidence was called by the defence. Before the trial, he pleaded guilty to 7 counts of indecent assault involving 3 boys, 2 of whom were part of the trial. During the course of his trial, he was described as a child molester on an industrial scale. He would not just groom his victims, but also their families. Victims who have been coached by Bennell as boys told how he had a power hold over them as they dreamed of becoming professional footballers. Blah, blah, blah. I have no idea where I am anymore. Jackie Lamb from the Crown Prosecution Service said Barry Bennell is a predatory paedophile who groomed and abused young boys who dreamed of a career in professional football. He claimed his accusers were making up stories about him following previous convictions and stories in the media, thanks to evidence of his victims to the CPS, and police were able to build a strong case to expose Bennell's denials as lies. Because of the scale of Bennell's offending, the prosecution faced a number of challenges, including selecting charges which would adequately reflect the scale and seriousness of what Bennell did. This indictment before the court properly reflected that offending and will allow the court to sentence appropriately. I would like to pay tribute to the victims who have come forward to give evidence against him, and I hope this outcome gives them some sense of justice being done after so many years. End of article. From HuffPost. Trump says Florida students should have done more to prevent deadly shooting. God damn it, Trump. You should be doing more as well as the president. President Donald Trump on Thursday responded to the massacre at South Florida High School by suggesting students and the surrounding communities could have done more to prevent the attack. So many signs that the Florida shooter was mentally disturbed, even expelled from school for bad and erratic behaviour. Neighbours and classmates knew he was a big problem, must always report such instances to authorities again and again. Announced from his Twitter account. At least 17 people were killed and 15 injured after a troubled former student opened fire on Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida on Wednesday, police said. Nicholas Cruz, 19, had been expelled from the school in the previous year for disciplinary reasons, and many of his former classmates told media on Wednesday that he displayed problematic behaviour. Honestly, a lot of people were saying it was going to be him. One student told CBS Miami, we actually, a lot of kids threw jokes around like that, saying that he's the one to shoot up the school, but it turns out everyone predicted it. It's crazy. Former teacher Jim Garr told the Miami Herald that Cruz reportedly wasn't allowed to carry a paper backpack on the school campus, and there was problems with him last year, threatening students. Contrary to Trump's tweets, it does appear that authorities were aware of Cruz's behaviour before the attack. A former neighbour told the New York Times that Cruz late mother called the police on her two sons on multiple occasions, though she stressed that she did not think the boys were violent. Broward County Mayor Bean Fleur told CNN that Cruz had been treated at a mental health clinic in the past and was somewhat on the officials' radar. It wasn't like that. There wasn't concerns for him, Fleur said. Trump's tweet failed to acknowledge the role that Florida's lax gun laws played in the shooting. Barring institutionalization, it's extremely difficult to keep someone with a history of mental illness from buying a gun in Florida. The accused killer legally purchased a AR-15 style rifle used in the slaughter, his family's attorney said. The president also ignored the fact that he actually made it easy for people with mental health issues to buy guns by revoking an Obama-era gun regulation last year. End of article. This one's phone's going well again. See what this last one here is, if it's interesting enough for everyone. Nope. Just said please try again later. End of part 1. Part 2, and here we go. Oxfam scandal, Haiti worker rehired after he was dismissed. Barry Bennell, Crew Alexandra. Bush scandal under carpet, said Lord Carlisle. He was a barrister prosecuted him back in 1998. Alex McLeish will return for a second spell as Scotland manager. Installment deal was in place last week, said Sinn Féin. Ex-Portsmouth owner jailed for stealing $5 million from wife to buy club. A disability group is calling for a pause in the campaign to ban plastic straws. Homeless man found dead near Parliament was model. Grenfell Tower campaigners in billboard stunt. Man jailed for murdering French tourist in London. Barry Bennell, a cruel and arrogant paedophile. Crime Watch bust stop rapist jailed after 25 years. Hamburg stag do, brother asked missing Liam Colvin to come home. Don Parson has put himself under the contention to win Great Britain's first medal of Winter Olympics. From the picture, I'm guessing it's skeleton. Where you go down on a board head first. Man held over rape attempt on girl 10 in Openshaw. The mother of one of Barry Bennell's victims says he groomed the whole family to get access to her son. Blue badge thefts in England quadruple in 4 years. Penistone hammer attack, man jailed for attempted murder. Oxfam scandal, ex-director hits out at lies and exaggerations. Teenager spending habits revealed. Beth Shipsey's diet pill overdose death, a huge mistake. It's been described as in the past as a monstrosity, but it seems we grown to love it. The Angel of the North is 20 years old this week. Church of England issues anti-plastic tips for Lent. How's the dog getting bit anyway? A lucky dog escaped being buried alive in a rubbish truck in Australia. RSPCA Queensland is looking to find those responsible for the cruel act. This is a total opposite feeling to Sochi, and I feel ready to go again. Elise Christie is ready and raring to go ahead of Saturday's 1,000 metre race. Scots Aid charity Scariff? Not Scariff is something else. It's an entirely different universe. Scots Aid charity Scariff confirms 2 child sex cases. UK blames Russia for a malicious NotPetya cyber attack. Brexit EU removes transition punishment clause. More than 1,000 driving bans given to children. Stormont talks Sinn Féin to meet UK and Irish government. Thousands of crimes going unrecorded by free police forces. Moped aided theft rise 6-fold in London hotspots. England could play a friendly against Qatar after FA signed a partnership agreement with the 2022 World Cup hosts. Steel pensions mis-selling scandal already erupting. Life expectancy gap between rich and poor widens. MPs pressure city firms over gender diversity. Faulty appliances cause 60 fires a week. Hill Walkers warned about magnets in clothing. Brit Awards 2018 stars to wear white rose pins on red carpet. Major sites rated poor on environment protection. And on BBC News UK, now let's go for BBC News World. Can I just say what I do, but I hope the guy's okay. You kind of have to hope that they're okay. You kind of have to hope that the guy that had a brick to the head is okay. Instagram agrees to Russia censor demands. Spanish woman's sexist rejection letter sparks furore. Pop star Denise Ho denies Malaysia permit over LGBT views. Father shooting, Trump warns against inaction. Sir Ramaphosa, the long road to power. The transgender teen who helped change Australia. French avalanche, 3 skiers killed in Pyrenees. Tennessee baby born with bullets wound after mother attack. Florida shooting, the moment gunman opens fire in a classroom. South Africa hopes for a future after Zuma's departure. Rio Carnival, evil rap stars in winning political parade. Venezuela political prisoners held hostage in jail riot. North Korea cheerleader, we were on the front line. German lawyer cheesed off with endless pizza deliveries. Chinese woman joins handbag in X-ray machine. Ethiopia's Prime Minister, sorry if I get this wrong, Hailemariam Desalegn is surprise resignation. Indian woman dies after hair caught in go-kart wheel. New Zealand man fined for drink driving motorised cool box. Cyril Ramaphosa due to become South Africa's president. Michaela Schifrin won gold in the ladies' giant slalom in her first event of 5 in Pyeongchang. Toronto firefighter who went missing in New York found in California. Snapchat petition attracts more 1 million signatures. Pampered Pooch is China's luxury hotel for dogs. Barnaby Joyce, Australia's Deputy Prime Minister, takes leave over scrutiny. Rio Carnival Samba School wins an anti-corruption message. Thailand's Prime Minister Prayut has released a new pop song, but it has not been a hit with the public. Mighty Joe Sharks is not a man-eating monster. Which processed food is linked to cancer? Senior figure in Oxfam says she is aware of past claims of sexual abuse involving the charity's staff in Asia. Lan Mercado tells the BBC the cases took place in the Philippines, Bangladesh and Nepal. Letters from Africa, why there is an uproar over the name Prince. Australia's plan to snub out smoking ban promotes health plea. Morgan Tsvangirai, the man who took on Robert Mugabe. 1 in 6 children affected by conflict Save the Children. Maldives opposition MPs forcibly removed from Parliament. US teen Lizette Andrea Cuesta named killers in Last Breath. End of part 2, end of video.